Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Yo, we talk about lightsabers, stunning your TV screens, what you want to stream, everything beyond your dreams. Want to talk about movies, sports, or even politics? Go ahead and tune into us. We'll give you all of it. Whatever you're debating, Xbox or PlayStation, Marvel or DC, Mac or PC. Teraflops when the movie drops, gigabytes, chips, RAM, no matter what it is, we got all of it. Welcome to the show.
Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Welcome to Nerds Talking, the podcast. I'm here with Carlos and I'm Lafayette. It is Friday, a new episode, and we have a special guest from a movie called Warden, which is available now on all video on demand, such as Prime Video. It is the director of the movie Warden, Marcus Alqueres, and we're going to talk to him about the movie, go through it, and how it came about, and what the movie's about, and give you guys an insight. Carlos and I did see the movie. So we did watch it, and we definitely want to get into the crux of the movie and so forth, and how Marcus got involved. But we're gonna just jump right in there. So, the director of the movie, Marcus Alqueres, he's with us. Marcus, how are you doing? And introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Marcus, as you presented. Thank you very much for having me here, Lafayette and Carlos. Appreciated the space and to be talking to you guys about Warden.
Yeah, Warden is a 2025 superhero movie, so people love superhero movies. It's about a young man with superpowers that emerges it's Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? That's where he's
Sao
primarily
Paulo.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's where he's at. And the movie has a whole different take from the perspective of the movie, which Marcus will explain. It's definitely different from what you probably people think superhero, they think, Avengers and Superman and Marvel movies and so forth. But this is completely different in the take of it. Marcus, explain Warden, what it is, and also your perspective of how you I'm assuming this was your idea of how to shoot the film. But give us the breakdown.
Warden is a superhero film, but told as a documentary, right? So that's the one thing I can promise is very different from everything you've seen regarding superhero films. And it's more of a realistic take on, what if to be a superhero in today's society. So it kind of and it was written to be a documentary, right? It wasn't a directing approach. So when I first read the script, that was back in 2019. It had even financing put together. I was approached by the producers, Steve, Jeff, the writer, producer, and Sarah Kinga. They offered me the script and I read and I loved because it has all the themes I love to, as a director to explore. As a director, it was a superhero. I love, fake documentaries, mockumentaries. Some people call mockumentaries. I consume all of them. I look for, anything new in that format, and it was written to be that way. So I thought, this is great, and we start developing further, and we're almost hitting pre-production. It was when the COVID pandemic hit, and then we lost the money, and I had another very interesting film at the time. Was a horror film to be shot in Romania, and I lost that film as well because of pandemic. And I was left to say, oh my God, there's nothing to direct at this point. Everybody at home. And I went back to the VFX industry, which I started. I used to, I don't know if you guys know, but I used to be a VFX artist on movies like 300, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Tintin, some of the Star Wars franchise. And I went back to the industry that year, 2020, because, nobody was filming anything. And I worked on The Mandalorian, remotely from Brazil at the time. And the money I made on Mandalorian gave me the confidence to say, maybe I can produce Warden on my own, the way I produce my short films. Of course, it wasn't a lot of money, so I don't want you guys to think that I got a lot of money on working Mandalorian, but it was a little bit of money that, that gave me the confidence to say, maybe I can produce Warden the way I produce my short films. And that was how it started. And then I pretty much jumped in as a producer and director, and produced, and I was stuck in Brazil at the time. And Warden was written to be in the US. And funny enough, it was really easy, not easy, of course, but it was, for our surprise, it wasn't difficult to adapt for Brazil, because the Western society, the way it is now, it's very kind of similar dynamics, like social media and the way system works in a way. And so we kind of adapt to be a story that happens in Brazil, although it's still spoken in English, mostly. It's 80% English, 20% Portuguese. And that's it. I mean, and then I produced in Brazil as I produced my short films, and the shoestring budgets with some creative insights to be able to dodge the lack of money to do things. But yeah, I think that was the start.
No, sounds good. Laura, thank you for joining us. Laura's here now.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Hi,
I
Laura.
mean, Laura, did you see the movie?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So everyone has seen it. Carlos, did you have a follow-up question?
No, I just wanted to comment about the Warden, the movie itself. I like the documentary style because I like documentaries myself, and it was total different take of your regular superhero movie, kind of like what you were saying, Marcus. So yeah, I really enjoyed the different views of everyone that was, involved in the Warden's life, and the take that you did, and then when you mentioned that you did the visual effects, I'm like, and it was a shoestring budget. I mean, you can see that, but you don't see it so much where you're like, oh, this is not something I want to, watch. It's a really good film, and you can see you. I'm guessing your hand in the visual effects. Am I correct?
Yeah. When I had a small team at one point, but I was working as a supervisor, artist myself, but I was also outsourcing a few things out there to, basically maximize, because it's hard to be a by your own, right? Producing 300 shots, that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
I'm really
Yeah.
surprised about the change of it being written in the US and then moving to São Paulo. Because it seemed, I mean, you're definitely right in the sense of the cultural homogeny that we see in the Western world now. But that's very interesting to me because like some of about the way that the justice system was put together, is put together in São Paulo. I was like, oh, this is interesting, and it gives kind of a different spin on it. So it definitely felt very organically Brazilian. So that's surprising and
Yeah.
that's a cool little aspect.
Yeah, we adapt a few little things. For instance, the way police works
Hmm.
or some of the justice system, but you would be surprised how little it changed. But of course, when you see that within a different city, different country, different language, it might sound like it's very different from the US, but in a way it's similar. Honestly, most of the dialogues, it was written by a American writer, right? So he wrote the dialogues, especially the ones from Warden, as he would speak in the US, but would just basically translate it. And of course,
Hmm.
me as a Brazilian, I kind of adapted a little bit. It's not a full-on translation, but um, a little things. And there was a segment about army in the US, which we completely took it because it wouldn't make much sense in Brazil. But that was it. And the police, the way the police chief works in the US is different in Brazil, but it essentially is the
So
same
was that
dynamics.
the public safety commissioner of public safety or whatever? Like that would have been the police chief, the equivalent in the
Correct.
US. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
I'm
So
putting it together now.
exactly. And then I just changed basically the way they name, like the DA in US, you call DA, right?
Hmm.
District attorney. In
Yep.
Brazil, it's a different position, but essentially they do the same things. And we just, switched here and there. Uh, so it looks authentic in Brazil. And you understand in the US, but the story in a way, I'd say it's rather international, especially now with social media, the way people are the dynamics of celebrity and stuff. That also there's a big inspiration on, the US of, the celebrity thing there, and it's being passed on to the other countries, right? Because in Brazil, people grow up watching American films, and you get a lot of stuff that it's similar nowadays with globalization, right?
Yeah.
So that was a good exercise and things that I like as a filmmaker to explore, especially in superhero films. I'm not, that's not my first superhero film. I did a long time ago, not a long time, 10 years, a long time now, but I did a short film called The Flying Man. I don't know if you guys ever saw this one. Um, it's
No,
on
unfortunately
YouTube.
not.
At this point, it has probably 25 million views. So it was a big hit at the time. A lot of people watched, and it's a superhero film told from a different angle, which is from the criminal angle, and which makes it look like a horror film. So that's why I like to kind of explore different angles to, similar to familiar stories. So you kind of change, the way people perceive. And Warden is, in a way, it's similar. We're telling that story from different points of view, but the hero, right? Which you see in most superhero films, you see the story told from their perspective, not from the population or society or someone specific point of view. So, that attracts me as a filmmaker to be testing those things and seeing how people react, because it gives you a total different perspective on something. If you tell like an Iron Man story from this guy's perspective, that might be scary, or maybe you feel different from watching a regular Iron Man film, and so on.
Yeah, it definitely made me think of like Civil War, but we're looking at it like not from inside, from the hero perspective, but from, the government and the people responsible for law and order, and how, they have expectations that you're going to follow some of these rules, and it definitely gives it a new perspective that makes you think um a little bit more critically about the whole thing, because superhero movies inherently, I think, are a little bit. I'm not going to say silly because I freaking
No,
love
they're
them.
formulaic. They're formulaic.
Yeah, and I love them, and they don't invite a lot of critical thinking, and so I think it's fun to spin it on its head and do something a little bit different, and especially kind of the murkiness around it, and especially when it comes to law, and then also I like I liked the conspiracy theory portions
Yeah,
you put in, because in this era, you really don't like what's true, what's not.
exactly.
Like
Yeah, totally.
nobody knows.
And I like to usually mention that, when I first read Watchmen, the comics back in the
Hmm.
day, before those crazy fake news, what's true, what's not, the ending of Watchmen, it worked so well at the time I watched. And I wonder if it would have worked today. Because now, the journal and the guy finds the journal and say, oh, now because everybody came to that reality to say, okay, let's hide this so people can keep united. But it doesn't work anymore. We see with COVID, nobody got united. Everybody was, so society is different from the 80s now,
Hmm.
which, this collective um truth, it's hard to find now. There's no like simple truth, so people go rogue on, and we try to explore a little bit of that as well on the film. So you got, same event and some people thinking different things about the same event, like the
Hmm.
supporters think something, the opposers think something else, and they make up their realities and they stick with it. And we see that often. So often nowadays. So we kind of, we went a little bit more political on this one, trying to not take sides, but at least present, from someone watching outside, and try to see what's happening.
Yeah, I don't think it feels political. I think it feels cultural. Like
Yeah,
that is the world that we live in. It doesn't have anything to do with parties necessarily. It's like you said, these individual realities that we've all created for ourselves brick by brick, and what happens when push comes to shove.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the political thing is that, people are, I don't know, different people will watch this film. They might come biased and think that it's waiting for one side or another. But I see this, like the movie Civil War, which is a movie that I liked. But the great thing they did is they made a coalition Texas and California. So at least the movie's not about sides. It's about, a reflection on how people are behaving now in the society. So at least you take that off the the equation right away. Say, okay, it's a coalition between Texas and California, which we know it's something super hard to happen if that would be, the case. And I think they did that brilliantly because they just took the political element out of the film and just made it about the cultural thing you said, society and how we're reacting to things, and we're gonna end up splitting the way that happened in the film. I believe, maybe not that crazy, but that's an honest take on what's happening now. And Warden would try to, show both sides in a way that maybe someone will watch the film and say, yeah, you see, Warden, it was a good thing. And then say, see what happens if you give too much power to someone, that happens. That, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I don't have enough feedback yet to see exactly what how different people see the film, but I'd love to hear.
Yeah, no, Laura has a good point because the movie gives you the media's viewpoint of Warden and what Warden's up to, or they're trying to guess what he's up to because he has his own reality show, and they think because of that they can read off of like, oh, this is what he's thinking. This is probably what he's doing, and
Yeah.
they really don't know what he when the audience knows what he's doing, but they don't really know what he's doing, and then the media starts going crazy, just like a CNN and a Fox, and they're one has one point, one has another viewpoint, and
Yeah.
Warden's like, "No, what? None of that's true. What are you talking about? Like, well, just
Yeah.
watch my TV show."
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
totally. And
like,
Well,
I think it's about controlling the message in a way, and everybody wants to constantly be piecing things together.
yep,
Not like even on Flying Man when I created, which this Flying Man dude appears in the city, start killing people, and nobody knows what's happening, and then they realize that he's killing criminals. But the media is trying constantly to give answers, and I
yeah,
took
yep,
that inspiration from big events that happen live. For instance, the 9/11, and I was watching some of the coverage from back then, and you get like people constantly speaking on camera, like the newscaster. They don't know what's happening, but they're trying to make sense and live, and they keep saying wrong things,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. They're
it's
trying to create a
just,
narrative that it's
yeah,
like because
constantly.
they have nothing to tell you really,
or
but
just trying to fill time in a 24-hour news
that's what I'm
cycle.
saying. They're
That's
Yeah.
it.
trying, yeah, they're trying to, like you just said, trying to fill time, and at the same time, they're like, okay, we can say this because they don't know, and
Yeah.
we might not know,
Yeah.
but our truth is the truth for the moment until the
Yeah.
truth comes out, and we'll just say this right now, and then yes, you should wash all your fruit and vegetables and spray them with Windex when you bring them home. You know what I mean? When you get your mail, put it in
I
a dishwasher.
remember when I heard people were doing that from COVID, and I was like, "Say what now?" And
Yeah, yeah,
that
exactly.
was a wild, wild time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
And I
that's
mean, what?
yeah. No, the movie kind of gives you that same perspective of the media's trying to create a narrative because they really don't know, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
and I mean, I believe Warden would have started with good intentions, right? But then you just become that person, you got so much power and you might not agree with everything. I think it's human in a way that, like each one of us, I guess we agree with some laws, we don't agree with some others, and it's normal, right? But imagine if you had so much power and then you decide to, okay, I'll follow the current law. And then after one event, say, oh, well, I'll keep following. But then another one that you don't agree with. And then all of a sudden you realize, you know what? This, I'm strong, super, like more than anybody. That's why I don't buy sometimes Superman getting arrested. and just going on jail by his own will. It's hard, I mean, humanly to agree with those things. So I guess slowly it's a trap that someone that it's this let's put a dictator. Now all of a sudden he's getting too much power. He can do anything, and he realize it's a curve, right? It's not like right away. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a journey, it's the march of the tyrant, right? So it starts like full of good intentions, but all of a sudden it's getting those powers, and then he's trying all those things, and we see that in history more than once. And we took inspiration from that game as well. But yeah, I guess every leader, he starts with good intentions. I guess nobody's villain as per se from the start, and then they become villains later on when they get lost and crazy. And I think Warden has that shift. All of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden he's totally changed, and doing those things, and it just gets worse from even from the end of the film. I guess if it keeps going, it's gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, you're right though. If you have that much power, guess what? You're gonna think you're right all the time. That's just what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. But
Well, here's a question for the group. If you were Warden, how would you approach this? What would your kind of plan be? And you made me think of that, Marcus, when you were talking about, is this would this happen to everybody? You have to make this kind of decision. I wonder how if you guys put yourself in Warden's shoes, about halfway through the movie, what would
Well,
you do?
I think my answer would be the most boring one, because I don't think I would step up. I think I would stay invisible on the sides. Maybe I
Me too.
wouldn't.
That's my same answer too. I would have been like, no, I mean, I'm super and it's cool, but I don't want to step into the spotlight.
Go play
Yeah, I would
sports.
try to get out of
Become an
traffic.
athlete.
Yeah, athlete, or getting out of traffic, flying, and then just land on, maybe do some good trips, travel, and
just like use your powers for leisure. I'm
yeah,
just gonna I'm
I
going on
mean, it could be
vacation, fly
cool.
over here, fly over there.
Yeah, and
I'll save
from
save a cat here and there just so people can think I'm cool. Like,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's also a
Leisure
good
man.
approach for a film. Yeah, it's a good approach for a superhero. He just do his neighborhood,
That's it.
and
That's all.
that's it.
He never
He
leaves his
he
neighborhood.
literally just helps like old ladies like lift
Across the
their
street,
car
picks them
up.
up, takes them across the street. Here you go.
They got their mail trapped under the rear. It just
Yeah,
lifts up the car and
He
just
just
pulls it
works for
out.
tips. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he just flies around looking for stuff he can like, oh, that person needs to change a flat tire. Flies down. I can do that for $5.
Yeah.
And it just it keeps going around and around and like
That would
ended
be
it
my life. That
the
would
end of
That's
be
the
a
if
good
I were
pitch.
Warden.
Yeah,
that's
that's a
it.
good pitch, guys. We can
Yeah,
make a film about this. It'd
that's
be
all.
cool.
At the end of the day, he looks down and goes, I got enough beer money. And that's it. like, I don't know. I think I would try to think I can solve like problems, like world problems, and then I'd probably like, I'm fed up. I'm just gonna you know what? I'm just gonna destroy stuff. You guys are pissing me off.
The
So
Dr.
evil.
Manhattan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go in the Dr. Manhattan
Yeah,
route.
yeah. That's it. Like yeah, we're here with director Marcus Alqueres. He's the director of Warden, a movie you can find now on all video on demand, such as Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Apple. Basically, anywhere you can rent a movie, you can get The Warden or just Warden. And again, it's a superhero movie, but told in a mockumentary style from the perspective of the media and the press, politicians, and so forth. It's a definitely an interesting take. Carlos, do you have anything for me?
Yeah, I liked how the warden went out and saw the world. He goes, there's a lot of shit out here. I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna take care of New São Paulo and try to clean up the streets. If it were me, I'd be king of the world. You don't know how quickly man, if somebody broke a law, like all this stuff going on in the Middle East and all this, how quickly people would disappear from this planet without knowing, because of how fast I'd be and how fast I could fly. The
Evil.
sun would
Another
have
evil.
Tyrant, right? Just another
the
one. I know he's
sun would have
horrible.
so much fuel. I tell you what, man. That's what I would
He's
do,
gonna,
and
you know,
I can see,
you gonna throw them into the sun?
and I can actually, yeah, you're not
Oh,
gonna
okay.
find them.
Don't make sure.
And then I could see why Warden was having a conflict with himself, because it was, do I do this? Do I stop everything I can, basically by murdering people, which I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. Like, I don't like how Batman doesn't kill anyone. The Joker has killed thousands of people, and yet Batman just puts him in handcuffs and puts him away.
And then
That's
he inevitably gets out, and we do the whole thing all
exactly,
over
and it's the
again.
whole thing over and over again. And then if I was Superman, I'd be like, you know what? This little game you're playing with the Joker, it's over. I'd punch a hole in his chest, and it'd be over. And that's
But
how
that's
Injustice started.
but that's the thing, right? That in comic books everything is very clear cut and there's the supervillain, and in reality it's the system, the culture or corruption. I
Yeah.
really like the introduction of political corruption and corporations and their influence. It's just so fucking complicated nowadays. And so assigning anybody as pure villain or pure good is really kind of impossible. And I
Yeah.
liked how this movie definitely highlighted that.
Yeah, and just Carlos, since you would approach that way, you probably would like The Flyman, my short film I was talking about,
Yeah,
because
because
that's
he's killing
basically
everyone. Yeah.
it's killing everyone, and that also it's a disruptive element to the society, right? So there's no
Right.
judgment, there's no system, he's just killing. It's just a
That's right.
monster killing, and it's criminal, but it doesn't matter
Due
what kind of
process,
criminal.
Carlos.
Ju
Due
no,
No.
no, judge,
process.
jury, and executioner, right here,
I can
right
view him
here.
flying over like a street and somebody jaywalks and he just
That's
punches
what
him
I was
into the
thinking
ground.
too.
He's
I'm
dead.
like, oh God.
And he's like, you shouldn't have jaywalked, buddy.
No,
Like,
no, come on, misdemeanors are fine.
okay.
Misdemeanors.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's good to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Marcus, how long did it take to shoot the film? And did you also edit the film?
Well, it's a good question because I don't have that answer. Because it was done during blocks of times.
Oh,
If I
okay.
can put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
this
yeah,
way.
yeah.
First, I shot the interviews, and the interviews it was during strict times in COVID. Maybe when to start like to be a little better was towards the end, beginning of 2021, and it was just me and the actor. Um, and I was operating two cameras, microphone, a little bit of makeup. I was doing everything, lighting the scene and directing the actor. So I was doing one-on-one with each actor on each interview on different days. So it wasn't like one day after the other. Sometimes I would shoot this actor, and this week, next week, I would shoot another
Yeah,
actor.
yeah.
And then we kind of put the film together just off the interviews and with some placeholders for some of the coverage. And then I start shooting the coverage on specific days. I got like bigger days, smaller days. And it was, I think production went throughout 2021. And then I stay on post-production throughout 2022. And the movie was pretty much done in 2022, and but the last 5% it takes a long time. And of course I was juggling with commission work as a director, that I do commercials, and trying to balance and keep refinancing myself to put money on Warden. So it was kind of that game. It was fun. I mean, I don't regret anything. To me, I've been always used to put short films out there with my own money, and they brought me a lot of good things, not just money back, but work that I get. It's mostly due those personal work that I put out there. And Warden, because of Warden now, I'm on a very interesting turning point with the Flyman feature.
Oh, nice.
And I'm super excited about this one. It's been 10 years, it's been on studios in Hollywood at Columbia Pictures, and we developed for 2 years there. We got an interesting result, but I think at the time the studio wasn't interested in keep pursuing. There's a lot of changes in those studios as well, so you kind of have to to be resilient at the end of the day to keep going with it. So I kind of reworked the whole script myself, and now we're in a really good, interesting point. We have some very cool people that are now going with it. We'll see. And that because of Warden, like once you start putting work out there, more people see it. It's also a proof of concept, and the concept being you as a filmmaker. Say, oh, this guy can put something together, or and I've done that with the short films. So I try not to wait too much for permission, so I do it myself. So I've been taking inspiration from other filmmakers that do that, and I love doing that. And I did that with Flyman at the time. I was working in New Zealand on Planet of the Apes and Tintin, and I quit the job to be a director, but that cost me to stay 1 year at home, just doing my own things in Toronto at the time. And when I put the Flyman online, it was crazy at the time. Like the algorithms weren't as strong as today, so it was easier to get viral in a way. So I remember I put it on Vimeo. Next day, I got calls from LA, and I got meetings in every studio with agency managers, and it was crazy. I mean, just one day. And that was the work that I did on my own for 9 months. Just waking up every day and doing some. At one point, you ask what you're doing with your life, that kind of stuff. And but I mean, and Warden's a little bit of that too. We had financing, we lost, say, well, I have two choices. Either we wait for 3 years of pandemic so the business start getting back up, because that was the time that took for a lot of films, a lot of studios to start making films again.
Yeah.
And even commercial. It was a tough time for filmmakers. Or I saw that I could make a version of it on my own, and that's how Warden was made. It was that balance. I knew with the interviews I would have a film, but I also knew that only with the interviews the film would be boring as hell, because people like to see visual things. But the visual things cost a lot of money, so I also couldn't put as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I try to strike that balance of having the visual feast for people to stick with the story, because otherwise it gets too, it's dense, right? It's political. It's very interesting stuff to me when I read, but I understand it can be dense if you don't, flourish with cool visuals. And I try to strike a balance so I don't go bankrupt and I get people to watch the film. Yeah. So.
I think you did a really good job. I mean, I think you made the right choice of doing it yourself. Passion project is definitely something that I think viewers can feel, and I enjoyed it very thoroughly. So I'm very glad you just went ahead and made it, as opposed to, waiting on studio money. And so my thought as you were talking about, damn it, now I lost the thought. All just the interviewers, and I think Carlos kind of hit it on the nail of the head. I liked it because I like documentaries, and I'm the same way. Like, I really enjoy watching documentaries, and I can get into the headspace and follow the narrative arc, no problem. And so it just depends on who your viewer is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you try to please everybody, and you're not going to please anybody. You're gonna spread the peanut butter too thin, but really making a choice and putting it out for the kind of people who are into that kind of thing. Definitely
you bring a good point, because to me the biggest challenge is to find the audience for the film, because I know I have a flashy trailer that might mislead some people that are into action and superhero action and stuff, and then they would jump on my film and say, oh my god, that's not what I was expecting, and it might frustrate them. But at the same time, a lot of people who don't even get close to a superhero film, maybe they would have liked that one, but they wouldn't even get close because there's the superhero stamp on it. So it's hard to get to the right, not the right, because there's no right and wrong, but the audience that will connect to it. And I understand it's a specific audience. Of course, each film, they have their audience, right? But it's hard to market this one, if I put it this way. It's hard to market and I know you guys, like everybody that, has this history with comics, with movies, they tend to like, because there's lots of interesting references. People who like political stuff also, that those themes that are around us now, nowadays more than ever, so you mix those things. There is a group of people who can enjoy, but it's been a challenge to nail exactly who to market for so people don't get pissed when they watch the film in
I
a way,
mean,
right?
Right. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I mean, audience segmentation is hard, but I think of it as like this Venn diagram of, you see the trailer and it looks like a superhero movie. I mean, it is a superhero movie, but you know what I mean? Like pure
Yeah.
action. And then just kind of by happenstance, you might get that overlay of people who are like all three of us who enjoy superhero movies and the big loud spectacle, but also really enjoy documentaries. And so you get
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
Venn
Yeah.
diagram segment that it really works. But yeah, marketing's a bitch. Audience
Yeah.
finding your audience, your segments is really really hard. Um, Follow up question for you, as you were talking about, all the different projects that you're working on. Do you have a kind of a dream project that you're
Um,
kicking around in your head or hope to get to something along those lines?
Flying Man is a dream project for me, for the feature version. Is the one that after even those 10 years, I'm still very drawn to that horror idea, of a horror film with the superhero as the monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you follow the criminal. And apparently the short film kept being rediscovered in the internet. Now, last week, I think it's because of Warden as well. YouTube started giving me some help with the algorithm. So I
Yeah.
think last week was like 100,000 new views to the
Awesome.
short
Wow.
film, and that's after 11 years, I think. And so that would be a dream project. But most of all, I think throughout the years directing, going through dry seasons, directing cool stuff and traveling, because I direct commercials, and it's so cool. Like you get to travel, get to know other countries and find different teams. I'm really appreciative of the process as well, right? If I'm able to almost make a living doing what I do, which is directing, I'm already very happy to be doing it, being a
Living the
short film.
dream. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like fortunate, and I'm not even making that, making the money of a Hollywood filmmaker or
I think
whatever,
that
but
is the dream. Just being able to, live your life doing something that you love is the dream.
yeah.
So I think you're doing great.
And I mean, I feel very fortunate since ever since I moved to VFX. I never feel like I'm working, that's been almost 20 years from the visual effects industry to jumping to directing. I feel always very uh, pleasant to do what I do. The tough thing about directing is really to make it sustainable, because I wish I could, direct a film a year. That would be amazing, amazing. And it doesn't even need to be a dream project. It's just a film that you make enough money to have a life. And there was this speech from this director who won the Oscar this year. I forgot his name now, but it's talking about the industry, filmmaking, which is it's so tough that like even if you make a movie in Hollywood, let's say a $6 million film, and I've been there, pitching for those films and even getting films like that in pre-production, but we didn't get to one of them. It was because of COVID, but the amount of money you make on people with it's you wouldn't survive a year in LA, and you stay in a film like that for 2, 3 years, right? And the fee you
Hmm.
make as a sole director, it's basically you can even last a year in LA. So it's super hard to make a sustainable uh and I'm talking about a film that it's in the Hollywood system, right? And you get paid by the budget, and if it's your first one, you don't have a rate yet, so you might get 100 grand, or even let's say or even less, or maybe more. But if you're working 3 years within this film, only
Yeah.
this film, you can last 3 years in LA. So you got to do something else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and with commercial, you're able to kind of bridge that. You get more work, you pitch more. And but you got to be creative, even as a commercial director. It's not like a constant stream of work. So to answer your question with those 10 minutes explanation is, my dream project is to be doing what I do and have my earning guaranteed, right? Now I'm on a good I'd say sequence of work, which it keeps you a little bit in peace. But I know every director suffers the same things. You got to be thinking about the next one and get that feeling of, you never know if what you have in your bank account is savings or projected salary. Because regular people, they have their salaries and they got the savings. They say, oh, that's my saving account because I know my salary will keep coming. But I mean, filmmakers is, well, I do have this money, but I don't know if I should buy a car or maybe wait for the next 6 months. And
Always wait on buying a car.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
especially
my
now.
advice.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're here with the director of Warden, Marcus Alqueres. Warden, again, available video on demand. Check it out. Before we go talk about the movie and review it with you, any movies you're looking forward to this year of seeing yourself?
um, I saw this trailer. Paul Thomas Anderson new movie with DiCaprio. I saw the trailer. I was
Yes,
really
yes,
intrigued.
yes.
I want to see that. I want to see also the new horror film from David Sandberg. I forgot. It's a video game franchise. You know this one? I forgot the
Oh,
name.
I, I know what
Uh,
you're talking about. I don't know the name either.
let
Mm,
me grab so
yeah,
I can
because
tell it.
I will definitely watch a horror movie.
Until Dawn. Until Dawn.
Yeah, Until Dawn. That's right. Comes out in I think 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. And let me see if there's more. There's probably more, but I've been so busy in the last month or two that I forgot to watch new trailers. So I need to see what I'm looking up to. This is
That's
also
my
this
life
Brazil,
every day.
yeah, this Brazilian film that it's being released. It got nominated for Oscar that I didn't see yet, but I want to see. I'm Still Here is the name. So yeah, I need some
Yes,
catching
yes.
up to
Right.
do
Yeah.
before looking forward to new ones. So I need to catch up
Yeah.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Keep doing your thing. You don't need to
You'll
be
catch up eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
They all come out eventually. You'll catch them on TV or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's jump into. We all saw the movie Warden, and we all saw it. The director's here, so don't be shy. Give him your review of the movie and what you thought, and we'll start with Carlos. Carlos, your review of the Warden now available video on demand.
Well, I liked it, and like I had mentioned before, I like the documentary style. I like how Marcus, you were saying all the little hits from all the other comic book stuff. I mean, you hit a lot on the DC stuff. I didn't hear much of Marvel. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that was intentional. There's a lot of DC stuff in here. And then one of my favorite parts was when not the reporter, but the other fella. I'm guessing I can't remember. He was a doctor, or therapist,
Yeah. Professor Mark.
professor. That's it.
Yeah.
When he says that, well, Warden, and then he does this. He does a Superman
Yeah.
symbol on his chest. I'm like, oh, that's clever. That's really clever. He's a Superman. It's true. No, I like the
Yeah.
film. I like the documentary style because, like I said, I like documentary. Um, I was wondering at any point if a villain was going to show up or if he's like the only person on Earth like this. And if he was the only person on Earth like this, to me, it was like, okay, you're keeping it at home. You're keeping everything at home. And if it works at home, hey, maybe we'll spread out. But right now, we can't seem to control what's going on here the way he thought he could. And so that's what makes the movie intriguing to me. So I like the movie. Well done, Marcus.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, I mean, we stayed contained in São Paulo, and I think even at the end of the film, he mentions like if I'm doing whatever I'm doing here, if it goes well, it can be replicated anywhere in a way that it's kind of like trying to expand later. And I've been, that there was this thing I heard a long time ago. I think it was in a book I read, saying if you want to be national news first, you got to be local news. No, if you want to be national news, you got to be local news first. And if you want to be international news, you got to be national. And to be national, you got to be local. So in a way, you got to start like create your model. And I think that's what drove Warden to stay in Sao Paulo. Let's create your model on this city. And if that works, maybe you can expand or maybe not. So that's why we stick with staying contained there instead of trying to spread the wings, go crazy around the world, which would go very crazy, I guess, in real life as well, right? Because I think you got to get the bearings first, understand who you are until you start like flying out.
Killing people like Carlos. Yeah.
That's right. You got to crawl before you can kill people.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Carlos
Laura?
would be very dangerous.
Oh my God, yes. Dude,
Look, look. If you need a consultant for the flying man, you call me because I know how to take care of these. I know how to take care of these villains.
I just like the idea of Marcus calling you. We have a problem with the script. Just kill the guy.
Hey,
Kill the guy.
just kill the
Who are
guy.
you trying to kill? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Okay. Thanks. That was a waste of a phone call.
You got super speed. Nobody will see him coming or going.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Have you read the book, The Reckoners, Steelheart? And this is like a trilogy of books. This is really cool, and I think Carlos would like because
The Reckoners. I'm gonna write this down.
yeah, The Reckoners. The first book is Steelheart. I think the last one is Calamity. The middle one I forgot. It's Brandon Sanderson. It's a superhero film, let's put it this way, but it's basically something comes near Earth that makes some people develop powers on Earth, right? And not all of them, just some of them, but all of them, they become villains, right?
Oh.
So they all become villains, and then they start ruling different parts of the city, right? So there's this guy, I think his name is Steelheart. That's why the first book is called Steelheart. He rules Chicago, and there's another guy who rules someplace else, and there's the Reckoners, which is a group of teenagers, young adults. They go hunt them, and because they know each one of them has a weakness or whatever. It's really cool. I read all three books. But I think you would dig this one, I guess, because they all become villains and they all rule their own.
That's his thing. I know.
Their own territories.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, here's a problem. You think it's a bad thing to be? It's not a villain. It's just taking control.
It's a
There's a
vigilante.
difference.
That's all. You're a vigilante.
Yeah.
I
That's
got
right.
it. Okay, Batman.
That's
I got it. Yeah. No, there's
Like
what
the
was,
Punisher, you know?
Oh, okay, you're the Punisher now. Wow. Mark Miller has a book like that called Super Crooks, where these guys get powers and they don't know how, and they decide just to be crooks, just be bad guys. That's all. Like we're not gonna help anybody. We're gonna basically use this for ourselves. And we're gonna be rich and so on and so forth. So yeah, there you go. Laura, what was your take on the Warden?
I really liked it, and the interplay between just what is going on within society is set against a superhero lens, I thought was particularly interesting. Just something different that you haven't seen before, a new take. So I enjoyed that aspect, and I really did like the documentary style because I was like, man, these actors are really good for the documentary portions, and then I'm like, can I trust documentaries? Like now I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit rocked, and I'm like, how much are all of these people in all the documentaries I watch? How much are they putting up an act? Because the actors really, really sold me, and that seems obvious, I guess. I was like, yeah, actors can act, duh. But it just I don't know. I was very much so sold on these are real people that are living this life and reporting on it. Especially I don't remember the character's name, but the guy with the longish hair, the British guy with the
reporter.
longish hair.
Andy Baltz, the character.
He was particularly great, and then as well as he was the prime minister, or the black gentleman.
Oh yeah.
He was also particularly
Davi
good.
Lopes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't speak Portuguese, but I'm still like, oh man, this guy's selling me on everything that he's saying.
It's good you mentioned. It was really I was really happy to have those actors on board. It was a tough tough thing to crack for an actor.
It was they did a fantastic job. So hard props to them. Hard props to you for, I'm sure it was wonderful direction that you gave them. But yeah, definitely recommend checking it out.
Thanks, Laura. And it's
There you go.
funny you mentioned about because I read a comment that said exactly what you just said. The guy was saying, well, I wonder if which documentary I already watched that was fake, because
Yes.
it's, people are so convincing, being like the actors were convincing in a way that they would wonder like how many documentaries people can just make up, and just create this crazy story that didn't exist. Of course, the superhero, it didn't exist, but what if the theme was something that,
Totally.
and I think they do that. I mean, they
Yeah,
might do that.
yeah. That was it was a little unsettling, but I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing. That's another thing maybe that makes it a little bit like real. I don't know.
Yeah,
Makes
actually,
it
I
fun.
watched this fake documentary on a film festival. I forgot the name. I'm still trying to find which one is, but it's a fake documentary. But you watch not knowing it's a fake documentary. It's this guy. He's a burglar, and he's explaining how he breaks into places and steals stuff, and he's doing that as a documentary, and it's super interesting. You stick with him, and then he invades this gas station and steals something, but this gas station belongs to a mafia mob or whatever, and this guy disappears in the middle of the documentary, and the
Mm.
filmmaker saying, oh, he disappeared, and then you believe all that, but then this guy shows up, he's the director of the film. And I said, oh my god. So that got me, and it was on purpose, like they make it look like it was real, but again, it was a theme that could have been made for real, but it just faked, and it was super efficient,
It's
and I
a
thought, oh, that's
post-truth
cool.
world, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous, right?
Hmm.
But since you mentioned the actors, it was curious because usually when you shoot a film, a short, whatever, you shoot like 4 pages of script, 5, 6 per day, sometimes more, but that's the average. And within those pages, you got like sometimes 4 characters, there's like a couple paragraphs of dialogues here and there. Maybe there's a little bigger monologue or a longer dialogue. But this one, each actor was in the film just for a day, because I had a day from, I think, just Warden, the actor, Giovanni, he had like 4 or 5 days, but
Hmm.
all the rest was like one day, and they had like 20 pages to memorize, and come on that day prepared to drop, I don't know how many, um some of the actors had like 25. The British actor that played Andy Baltz, he James Turpin, he had like, I think, 25 pages worth of monologue. It's a monologue, right? So
Yeah.
they're speaking to the camera. uh Besides how hard it is to memorize, you got to be speaking with intent, right? So you
Hmm.
sound convincing. So it was a really tough job for them to crack, and I think they did it very, very well to my eyes. And I was fortunate to have that level of actor, because otherwise they could have ruined, the whole magic of, pretending this is real. We know it's not real, but I mean, if someone is not convincing on that spot, it can ruin the whole thing.
No, he was convincing. He was very convincing. Um, yeah, like I said, everybody's on the right track. The mockumentary style is good. I never seen it, of course, in a superhero movie, so it's very different. We've seen these type of movies even for horror, or we've seen it in different styles. Not even just mockumentary, but almost like even like found footage stuff, right? It kind of feels the same in a sense. Um, this one, it gets you at the beginning because, to be honest, these Carlos and Laura probably thought the same thing. Had no idea it was a mockumentary, no clue. I was going in like, oh, superhero movie. Okay, let's see what we got. But when you said that, the budget wasn't huge, to me, the one thing that was missing towards like the last 30 minutes was more of Warden. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
fair.
that's what kind of the last 30 minutes I was like, it's just more interviews where they kind of jam in more Warden a little bit here.
Yeah,
Um, you know, almost like show his show and what he's almost like behind the scenes of his show, like maybe he's, we're not shooting that today, or I'm upset about this. You know what? I don't want to film today.
I imagined it
Almost.
like cops, bad boys, bad boys.
Yeah, something.
What you
Yeah, yeah,
gonna
but yeah,
do?
something like that though. But
Followed around.
almost like it's almost like he catches the guy and goes, "You know what? Do that again." And the guy's like, "Wait, do what again? Steal that again? What? Yeah, let's do it one more time." And even the bad guy's like, "I'm confused."
Yeah, yeah.
You
No,
know?
it's all great ideas. I mean,
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
me,
But
I also wanted more.
yeah, yeah, and like, but you said it's a budget thing.
Yeah,
That's just what because you can tell the shots with the warden. You're like, yeah, this is where the money went into was those
yeah,
shots. You know, but again, it is very original. Um, it is an original take. It reminded me a little bit of The Boys because The Boys has that overlapping theme of people's narration of what those characters are and what they perceive them to be, but then we see how they really are, and they're all assholes. And
yeah,
you're kind of like, oh, well, damn it, like this is the real side of superheroes.
yeah,
This is what this movie gives you, a different perspective of this is what this guy's really like. And he even doesn't even give you everything, Warden. He kind of shuts everybody out and going, you can only see what I show you now. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
well, we have to, you know what? Then we're going to create a narrative for the guy. And so, yeah. So, again, I recommend people watching it. People that love superheroes, people that love mockumentaries. Um, to be honest, just in general, just watch it in general. It's a good movie. It's on video on demand. It's called Warden, not The Warden, just Warden. And sheesh, I mean, Marcus, what more can you say? I mean, give me a pitch to sell to the audience. Like, tell
Well,
them why should they watch this movie?
I can only promise one thing. It's gonna be very different from everything you watch superhero related. I think that's my pitch. If you want to watch something different, go watch Warden and hopefully you stay.
And
There
tell
you
your
go.
friends about it and be like, "Ooh, I have this cool indie thing." Everyone wants to be indie, right?
Everybody
Everyone
does
wants
like
to be
indie.
on the
Everybody likes,
yeah.
oh, indie's so
Everyone
cool.
wants to be on the cutting edge. This is your
Yeah, yeah.
in, folks.
Yeah, that is true. Good call on that one. So thanks for joining us, Marcus. This is Marcus Alqueres. He is the director of Warden. He has a movie he's working on now, The Flying Man. Hopefully, we could all catch that. Is that with right now? I know you said it was in
You can
lit.
watch the short film version
Yep.
of it
Yeah.
on
Watch on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yep.
Yeah,
And,
The
and
Flying
it
Man.
and it's in pre-production right now.
Not pre-production
Not
yet,
yet. Not yet.
but
Okay.
it's in a good turning point in terms of development. And I cannot say much now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
there's some good movement happening. So hopefully, within the next 5 years, no, I'm kidding. Hopefully less than that, because everything takes like 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, because people ask me that every day on YouTube, say, when are you making the
Oh, okay. Yeah.
feature
Yeah.
film
Yeah.
of this? It's like crazy amount of comments every day asking for the feature version, and people don't understand how this is not a feature film yet. So hopefully, yeah, that's gonna be my next thing.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about streaming movies though? Like, is that something that you're like, I'll do it. I don't care.
Well, you mean on
Like,
this?
let's say Netflix says, let's make The Flying Man, or Paramount Plus tells you, yeah, we'll make it over here.
Oh, I would love it. I would
Okay, there
love
we
it.
go.
Of course, every filmmaker would love to be
Just their
in
project.
theaters for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, most of all, I want to make a film, and
Yep,
and
yep.
then I'll worry about distribution on
Yeah.
the second on the second step. But yeah, for sure, I would dig any streamer too.
Yeah, because you never know. Toxic Avenger was made, the new movie was made 3, 4 years ago. And they just
Yeah,
finally got a distribution in the last like 6 months.
yeah,
Like that's
that's
how long
that's
it
how it
took.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. Took them
Nowadays,
that
hard to
long.
get people's attention to, to new things. So yeah, we can only wish to be in theaters, but the reality is you might but like I mentioned before, I love the process. I love to be filming, working and making something. For what I most love is for the audience to find stuff, like my short films are in the internet getting views and getting feedback. That what gives me fuel to keep going. So if it's in theaters, perfect.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on Nerds Talking the podcast. This has been fun. Again, check out the Warden video on demand. And that's pretty. Laura, Carlos, anything else before we bid Marcus adieu?
Oh, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Thank you all, Carlos, Laura, Lafayette. I mean, it's great having that space, especially for the indie filmmakers that are are trying hard to put work out there. So it's great to, spread the word and finding more eyes to the film. And, being here talking to you guys has been great. And I love the time here. And thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. There you go. All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's take a break here on Earth Talking the Podcast. Something we haven't done in a while. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, Laura here, telling you that you should check out Impolite Society this week on all of your podcast forums and also on YouTube. Look us up, Impolite Society, wherever you get your podcasts or YouTube.
Back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. I'm here with Carlos, Laura, and I'm Lafayette. Thanks for tuning in again. Check out The Warden on video on demand, as we just spoke to the director. And this weekend, though, anybody going to see The Sinners? Anybody? The Sinners?
If
Huh?
I went to the theater, I would, because
Oh, wow.
I
Why?
watched
How
the
far? Did they move
trailer.
it away from you? Did they move it?
The trailer looks really good. I
heard
just don't have time. I don't have time.
I heard it's a kid's movie.
Yeah, oh God. Bring my 4-year-old to that. Maybe she'll fucking stay in her room then. Good
Oh,
God.
you know what? Yeah, scare her. That's a good call. Use it to scare her.
Monsters. We need more monsters in everyday life for
That's-
children.
That's it.
Keep
That's
them in
it.
line.
You
Or
know
else
what?
the vampires are going to get you.
You got to show them some type of movie at home then.
Phantasm that I saw at 4.
Oh my God, that would
traumatized
get
me
them.
for forever.
Like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street's a good one because then, well, no, it's not a good one because
No,
then
they
they want
won't
to
go
sleep
to
in your
sleep.
room.
Yeah. No.
That's true.
I
Don't
just
show them
need them
that
to
one.
stay in my room. Their room.
Yeah.
Not my room. Their room.
Yeah. All right. Well, Blockbuster. I mean, Minecraft already at $500 million. Just,
Well, it is a blockbuster. You
It
were
is a
right.
blockbuster. So already $500 million. Netflix.
$1 million.
Netflix is close to the $1 trillion club. That's how much money they make. So that's
Good
insane.
for them.
Insane. And what's the latest Netflix thing you've watched that they've earned your money for or from?
Adolescence. I watched Orange is the New Black.
Well, we've been
as
through
we've
that, though.
established, but I did just watch Adolescence. That
Okay, you did finish it.
I didn't really like it.
They actually have a sequel coming, season 2.
No thanks.
Yeah, it's where he goes to trial.
No payoff,
and then
right? No payoff.
There's no
No
payoff.
payoff. I was like, that's the last
No.
episode?
payoff.
That's the
Yeah.
last episode?
I know. It's so like.
The fuck? That was a giant waste of my time. I'm like, do I really
Yep.
need to see this lady walk
That's
down
how I
a
felt.
hallway for 5 minutes? Fucking A.
Yeah, you want to hear something else too, Laura? This is for you. This is for you about Netflix.
Yeah.
Only 4% of their revenue comes from the commercials they show you. That's it. Only 4%. Why
That's
even put
me.
commercials? What?
Because I'm fucking paying for it.
I know, but I'm like, come on. They made $10 billion in profits because they put all their money back into their projects. So
Yeah.
but yeah, there you go. There you go. When it comes to ad revenue, though, Paramount Plus, 35% of their revenue comes from ads, and HBO Max, 21% of their
I
revenue.
didn't even know that they had ads on either of those platforms. I guess it's like just like Netflix, like there's a cheaper tier.
Well, that and so if you have HBO Max, they just show you the one commercial before whatever you watch.
For
Maybe
their
one
own
or
stuff. Is
it
that really,
is. It
that
is.
really revenue? That's not
Yeah.
revenue.
It's actually mixed in with like, here's a commercial for Honda, and then watch the new episode of this on Thursday. You're like, oh,
Okay.
okay. So yeah, that's what they got going on there. So yeah. Also in my eyes are going bad news because that's what's going on here. Me trying to read. LA filming. Woo. Oh my goodness. LA filming has hit a new low. Less and less studios want to film in LA.
Yeah, because they're all going to fucking Georgia.
Yeah,
Or Romania.
and
like
Las
Marcus
Vegas.
mentioned.
Yeah, Las Vegas has like new studios popping up. People going there. Only 22% of anything filming is done in LA now. That's really low.
Too
really,
fucking
really low.
expensive.
It is. It's crazy. And of that 22%, the most things that are filmed here are basically TV dramas. Yeah. So
That tracks.
not even feature films. Commercials, only 2% of commercials are filmed in LA, which makes sense because you see a commercial, you can film those anywhere. And you don't know the actors. They're just casting local people. So if we're filming in Georgia, just whoever wants to act in Georgia can
Good.
get your big break.
Spread the wealth.
Yeah. So there you go. Just going through, and I just Carlos saw Minecraft. Yeah, Carlos saw
Yeah,
Minecraft. Yeah,
I saw Minecraft.
Give us a 30-second review. Go.
Good movie. Even if you don't know what Minecraft is, very entertaining. Jason Momoa, funny, funny character. It's almost as if that's the character he should have played when he did that Netflix film.
Slumberland, which
That's it.
Marcus worked on as VFX artist. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then Jack Black was good, but the whole movie overall, my kid loved it. So I don't understand why critics give it like it's like at a 45 right now on Rotten Tomato. I'm like, clearly you guys know nothing about kids films. This thing's made $500 million. Still gonna make. I'm sure it's still gonna be top 1 or 2 next week, and they're giving it bad reviews for why? I mean, clearly these people don't have kids and don't go take them to the movies. But it's a good movie, whether you know what Minecraft is or not. It's a very entertaining movie. You won't be bored. Your kid will love it. If you don't, oh, what's funny is that if you don't have kids, you'll like it too. For some reason, I saw like a 70-year-old couple come in. And they sat in front of me. I'm like, are they coming here to join these kids? I thought maybe their grandkids were there, but no. They sat at the end all by themselves, just sat there and watched it. And maybe it was one of those things where they're like, hey, you want to go to the movie? Sure, let's go see what's out. Well, what's number 1 in the box office right now? Okay, let's go see that one. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know. They seem to have enjoyed it. So, like I said, you don't need kids. You just enjoy the movie. It's a good movie.
You know what's funny? The critics' consensus on Rotten Tomato typically, I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad review. It just says, celebrating creativity, Minecraft provides a colorful sandbox for Jack Black and Jason Momoa to amusingly romp around in a story curiously constructed from conventional building blocks. I'm like, how's that? That's okay. Yeah.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me. Sounds like what the movie's about.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick what they call a top reviewer, somebody that's, oh man, they're like one of the bee's knees in the business. So for instance, this fella here just said Minecraft is empty, deeply dire experience, a hot trash pile of video game memes turned to life in hopes of exploiting popular IP and then just turning a buck. This guy clearly doesn't know Minecraft a game.
Clearly.
Anything.
No.
Video game memes. Like what? This is a guy that's never played the game, doesn't know anything. He just he basically just says it's a trash video game movie. That's it. I'm like, you never saw it. I mean, never
But
played the
yet
game.
it's the number 1 video game movie of all time.
Of all time. Yeah. And another one real quick from the New Yorker. He just says it has a lot of personality to make me wish that this mess had any real feeling behind it. Don't mistake my curiosity for enthusiasm. I cannot recommend this movie to anyone, not even a child. Like, what? This dude shouldn't even have a
Stupid
job.
as shit. No kidding.
That would, he walked
No
out of the
kidding.
Brutalist. Children should watch this movie. It's fantastic. Anyway, all right. In film development, Dennis Quaid and Nick Offerman are making a movie called Sovereign. It's a crime thriller, a true crime thriller. You got that. Sam Neill, everybody knows from Jurassic Park. He's going to be in the next Godzilla Kong movie, where the synopsis is Godzilla and Kong face a new world-ending threat. No way. No way. I thought it'd just be them going to lunch.
Yeah, the election of
like
2024.
Picking up kids. Like what? Like no shit. They're gonna fight more monsters. Wow, that is insane. Insane. Jesse Eisenberg's new musical comedy, has been picked up by A24. Okay, I guess he's he's a filmmaker now. He's okay. Jessica Chastain is gonna start filming a new horror movie. And it is called Incidents Around the House. Oh, based on a novel called Incidents Around the House. That's an interesting title. Interesting. If you guys all know, they've all casted Harry Potter for the new TV show on HBO. So everybody's casted. We're good to go.
Just the adults. They haven't cast the kids.
Oh, you're right. The kids are not. I wonder who's going to play the cat. I wonder. Because whoever plays Potter is going to be like, his world's going to
Next
change.
thing,
Yeah. His whole world's going to change for sure. For sure. Yeah. If you guys watch The Voice, no one does. But just in case you're interested, Sheryl Crow and Leanne Rimes will now be joining that show. So, yeah. There you go. And last but not least, Apple has one documentary, Come See Me in the Good Light. I don't know what that even, it sounds like a religious thing. Nope. Nobody cares about that. And Prime Video purchased the rights to a World War II drama called The Narrow Road to the Deep North, which actually premieres this weekend. Oh, well, I'll be damned. Catch it today. World War II drama. That's right up your alley there, Laura. Right up your alley. So
very much so.
Yeah, you love yourself some war movies. You should go watch the new one. It came out in theaters called Warfare. There you go.
That is a modern one, not a World War II.
It is. It's Iraq. Oh, so you just like World War II?
The World War II buff.
It's my preferred.
Civil War. Yeah. The French Revolution. No. Boston Tea Party. That wasn't a war.
Hatfields
and
McCoys.
What are the wars? Oh, there's always that one. Yep, there's always that one. That's pretty much what we got for you. So go to the movies this weekend. Watch Warden at home. Watch The Flying Man on YouTube. I'm going to go check that out right now, actually. And that's all I got. Carlos, anything else?
Yeah. If you want real movie reviews, listen to what we have to say, because these idiots out there don't know what they're talking about. You come here, we'll give you the real lowdown, because those idiots thought Nora was a good movie. It's garbage. They thought The Last Stripper was a good movie, or Last Showgirl was a good movie. That was garbage.
The Last Stripper I watched, though.
They thought The Substance was a good movie. That's trash. So we'll give you the skinny on all this stuff. Just pay attention.
They're all nominated movies.
Yeah, and they're all trash.
They're all bad. Yeah,
they're all bad. They're all bad.
And this thing is like, for instance, The Last Showgirl. I don't think it's a horrible movie, but the hype it got, no.
Oh yeah,
no. Like a Nora. I didn't think it was bad. Wasn't that good, but the fact that it won like 27 Oscars, I'm like, really? Like
trash. Paid for.
Watch Jack Black and Jason Momoa have a good time. Like, which is a good time. It is a good time. Kids, like your kids would love that movie, Laura. I can tell you that right now. Even though they know nothing about it, it's just everything on screen. They're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, the visuals are incredible.
Yeah, it's an acid trip for kids. Like, so, but yeah, it's pretty good. Go check out
Maybe we'll
Minecraft.
Check it out. Yeah.
Why don't you just drop them off in the theater? Go watch Sinners. They'll behave themselves, right?
Well. My
They'll never know
4-year-old,
you
my
left.
2-year-old.
Yeah. Just like, I don't know, tie them together somehow. Handcuff them together. I don't know.
And a Superman preview beforehand is well worth the trip.
Yeah. Yes, Laura, come on, do it. Let us know what happens. That's great. All right.
Yeah, next week it'll be Welcome to Nerds Talking Podcast. I'm here with Lafayette. I'm Carlos. Laura's been arrested.
Yeah.
Maria's missing.
For child abandonment.
Yeah, for child abandonment. And clearly not I already. They're not using this show as evidence.
Yeah.
This episode, this man said you should do this. Like, damn it, I did say that. Laura, how about you? Anything? How about your the podcast? Anything?
Impolite Society. Most recent episode is about survival stories. Or I'm sorry, not survival stories, but the psychology of disaster psychology, how to survive, how to not survive.
Got it.
Very interesting. A lot of 9/11 stories and stuff like that. If you're a person who thinks that you're prepared and you can handle, any situation that's thrown your way, have a listen. It's very interesting.
Nice. There you go. Check out Impolite Society wherever you find your podcasts. It's available everywhere, I'm pretty sure. everywhere. Well, that's our show. Everyone, tuning into Nerds Talking the Podcast. You've been a great audience, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're like upset right now, or you're sad, and I don't know. I'm assuming you're having a good time. So just like The Last Stripper, as Carlos said. Wonder what that movie would be like. The Last Stripper would be old. Is it just the last club closing down? Is she just
she's just the last one to leave. I'm like, hey, yo, we gotta clean up.
That's what the movie's about.
I gotta go. And she's like, yeah, has anybody left in the parking lot? Because I'm horny. I want to go home. And
it's like one of those movies that are shot in one shot, and it's like her getting to work and scrambling, and she's stressing out. She's talking about her personal problems to everyone, and they're like, get on stage, Carrie. She's like, okay, I'm coming. And then she does a bump, and then she like, but then halfway to the stage, she forgets something. Oh, damn, forgot my new heels or whatever she brought. And you know what? I'm in. I'm in. I like movies that like.
Movie takes place in the club the whole night. Just
yeah. And then she's just the last one of the night. And they're like, we're closing up, last drinks. Yeah. And then that's it. And then she's murdered in the parking lot by Elmo. And then bam.
No, the final scene is just, hey, get that light for me. She just flips the switch.
That's it. She's the last one out.
Last one out.
Actually, that would be kind of fun if it were like Go. You know the movie Go?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Late 90s. Yeah. That might be kind of fun.
Or it's endless. And it's her like after her dance, whatever it is, because all the dance will be montage. It just shows her go back to, and then there's drama in the back room, and she's you bitches knock it off, blah, blah, and then she's talking about this guy, and
she's
it's
at
just
the
like
bar
drama.
talking shit about the other dancers.
Yeah. And as she's going around talking to everybody, you're learning about everybody else's problems, and it all interconnects. And then at the end of the night, all this shit goes down. It's like The Last Stripper. We just made a movie. And it won't cost much to make either. Not at all.
$1.
Do it ourselves.
That's it.
Couple bucks.
No, just go to the strip club.
Well, I'm going to play the stripper, and then everyone's going to pay you to not watch it. So really, that's going to be a money maker.
It'll be like, hey, put your clothes back on. Here's $100.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, can we turn the red lights on, please? Turn the red lights on.
I'm going to have to rewrite the script. You're right. It is not just The Last Stripper, but the last time the strip club's ever opened. God damn you, Laura.
The last client.
The last night of the strip club. That's it. Yeah. Actually, I would watch that, though. I would watch it. And then the sequel is just her sleeping all day. That's all. All right. Well, there you go. That's it. Yeah, the sleeping stripper. The last sleeping stripper. Like, what does that mean? I got to watch that. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Nerds Talking, the podcast. For Carlos.
Bye-bye.
For Laura.
Goodbye.
And I'm Lafayette. Now, stay tuned for another song. Again, I don't know what it is. Hey, good luck. Catch you next time.
Why did the chicken cross the road? It's a timeless riddle, a story untold. Feathers flapping, eyes on the sun, leaving behind where it all begun. Wasn't for grain or a patch of green, wasn't escaping some cooking machine. She was chasing purpose, chasing the sky, running from a life that just passed her by. Why did the chicken cross the road? To find herself not do what she's told. Breaking free from the cage she called home. Wings out wide, ready to roam. And it ain't just yoke, it's a journey of pride. She crossed that line to get to the other side. She'd had enough of the daily grind, of laying eggs and falling in line. Whispers in the barn said it's just a phase, but she saw the world past that dusty haze. Some say she's foolish, some say brave, but she's not